Okay, so this is going to be part 3. So my second pregnancy was a blighted ovum, meaning that the sac formed, but no baby formed in it. And later that night, I passed, I don't know how to describe it, the sac, I guess. It was pretty big. And it was just, I felt it come out. I mean, I felt it drop out. I was like, ugh. And around that same time, one of my friends had just had a baby. And they came over to our house that night with her baby. And it's really hard to be around people, especially when you just experience something like that. Because with the second pregnancy, I knew I was pregnant for a couple of weeks before I miscarried. And it's hard, like I would never wish miscarriage on anybody. And I don't want to be one of those people that are bitter towards people that have babies. I'm only bitter towards the people who have babies who don't take care of their babies, or who beat their babies, or they're just bad parents, basically. Those are the kind of people I don't understand. Like, I believe in God, and I just question sometimes, like, why he would allow people like drug heads to have babies. Like, why would he allow people who can't take care of kids, or have 8 or 9 children just so they can get more payment from the government? They just have more babies because the government's going to pay for it. Like, I don't agree with that. Like, I don't have a problem with the government helping single moms that have children who are really trying and struggling. Because I have a cousin who is working really hard, and she's really trying, and she has 2 children, and she uses governmental help. And I don't have a problem with that, because she is trying. But I do have a problem with people who try to have more kids just to have more governmental money. That's kind of off on a tangent, sorry. Anyway, I was just venting about that. But I think babies are blessings, and people should definitely consider that. Consider them blessings. And I'm not saying that most parents don't. Sometimes it seems like that, though. Anyway, so a second miscarriage. We left the doctor's office. I was crying, of course. And my husband at the time, we got home, and he didn't talk to me the entire way home. I was just crying. And okay, so maybe he didn't know what to say. I understand that. You don't always know what to say to people who have miscarried. Like, what do you say to them? There's not really anything you can say to them. Tell them you're sorry. You're there for them, if they need somebody to talk to. But, even me, having 4 miscarriages, when I hear of another woman having a miscarriage, I don't really know what to say to her. Like, I know I definitely am not going to say, well, God has a plan for you. Because that seems like the wrong thing to say to somebody. Even though I do believe that God has the reasons for everything, and, when you surrender your life to Him and you ask for His will to be done, I do think that God uses situations to test us, to test our faith, to test how strong we are, even if it seems cruel. And I don't think I know that's not His intention. He's a loving God, and He's not out there to punish us. But there's one book, I know I'm getting off, but I feel like I need to say this. The book of Job in the Bible really got me through my 4th miscarriage. And I don't know, you'd have to read it. I don't know exactly word for word the story, but I do know it's something like Job was a very wealthy man, and he had pretty much everything. He had like 7 kids or 10 kids. Like I said, I don't know the exact number. That sounds probably really bad. I did read it not long ago. He had so many cattle and so many sheep, and basically he was a rich man, very blessed. And Satan went to God and told God that the only reason Job worshipped him was because God gave him everything. And so God allowed Satan. God himself did not inflict anything on Job, God allowed Satan to take, basically all of his children died, took away all his wealth, and Job didn't understand what was going on, but he still worshipped God and trusted God. And so Satan went back to God and was like, the only reason he's still worshiping you is because he has his health. Because God in the first place wouldn't let Satan touch him bodily wise. And Satan, God allowed him to make him sick, but not to kill him. And he got leprosy, and I'm not really sure what leprosy is, but it sounds really bad. And he was really sick and just, I guess, felt like death, basically. And, he was kind of questioning God, and his friends were, like, well, I guess you did something bad. And there's a lot of dialogue back and forth in that book. But basically, Job still looked to God and worshipped God and trusted in him. And that gave me, like, so much strength. Like, and then at the very end, since Job didn't lose faith, God restored everything to him. And, he, like, 10 times. So he had more children, and he became richer than he was in the first place. And, like, that book gave me, like, hope. And, some of you probably maybe don't believe in God or the Bible. And that's your prerogative. That's completely, free will. But I do. And I know